app.
Good morning. Welcome to the
into the
Mark
Mark
Houston
Houston
Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial and also 12:30 a.m. WTBC. If you're listening out there in radio land, you know that we fired off just a little bit early this morning. So, hey, I've been trying to get a few extra minutes each and every day. So I guess that's one way to do it is to fire it off a little bit early this morning. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling right here on your home for Alabama sports. We'll get X added into the conversation here in just a moment. You're tuned into the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports, and we are ready to get things rolling. So let's do just that. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is Sound Alabama Sports, your show, your team, and so we want to welcome you in. It's a wild card Wednesday. We'll get our turning points. We've talked a little bit of good, bad, and ugly, but since we've had guests this week, we've tried to let them talk about it. So Xavier and I will talk about our good, bad, and ugly in maybe in more detail in just a moment. We also get inside the playbook. We'll look at I want to see more. What do you want to see more of with Alabama? I might also throw out a little finish the following statement type of scenario as we move things along this morning. So definitely a great show lined up for you. What were your key takeaways? What do you want to see Bama work on? All of that and more. Want to remind you that there's going to be some great programming happening right here on the Martin Houston Show for the rest of the week. We're going to have a double dose of Kennedy Smith III. He'll join us again tomorrow. And he and Xavier will be talking about the state of, and it'll kind of be a segment where they'll assess or grade each position group and expand on what they think the improvements they'd like to see happen in those particular areas in the in the month of November. So that'll be fun. And then DC Capstone Report will join on Friday, and they'll talk around the SEC. They'll look at a couple other issues, topics. They'll give their assessments of grades probably as well. So it'll be a fun time. It is what it is. We're ready to get things rolling right here. Want to invite you and welcome you to get in on the conversation. And remember, you're able to do that at 205-342-9904. The Alabama One hotline is open for business once again. That's 205-342-9904, the Alabama One hotline. Send your comments, your reactions, or your questions to us in the live stream chat. We'll work that into the conversation. We also had a couple people yesterday sending some thoughts in via the app, and I'm going to try to work those conversations back into the thought process. So we'll work those in as well. So thank you all so much for being a part of each and every day. And I want to remind you, as I do each and every day, that this is the day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. We will have our Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. However, Scotty Hollins will not be joining us today, but we will. I'll take the lead on that today, and we'll have that to conclude today's programming. I see X has been able to join us. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, doing well. How are you?
Doing well. I'm sure Wyatt probably told you things fired off a little early this morning. So as those who are viewing on the live stream saw, I didn't even have my hat on yet. I wasn't even fully dressed, man. So we had to get going as the intro kicked off before before I was even set. But it's just like anything else, man. When the snap count is called, you got to be ready to play. So we'll do that. But man, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I was telling them that you and Kennington are going to do a state of. So I had planned to do the grades this week. So I really won't get too deep into that because I don't want to take away your content for tomorrow. So we'll take a little different approach. We haven't really dug deep into your good, bad, and ugly for the week. So I'll give you a chance to do that if you have anything in particular you want to do. Specifically from a good, bad, and ugly that you want to hit on?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the game, we've talked about defense played pretty well through the entire course of the game. Offense had a rough start of it, but that second half, the good of the second half of the just about overall team effort, because you gotta knock Kool-Aid for not catching those punts. Otherwise, that would have been the most perfect second half of Alabama football I've seen played in a long time. But just the offense and defensive play in the second half was the good for me. Man, he's not a starter yet, but Jihad Campbell, like he's that next guy up. And you can tell, like, I love what Deontay Lawson brings to the table, Trezman Marshall. But man, Jihad Campbell is special. It's just something about him and all the hype that I've heard about him over the last few years, he's really living up to. But that's my good, just the overall team defense. But individually, Jihad Campbell is amazing.
Yeah, Jihad Campbell. It's one of those things. Trez Marshall, has played extremely well. But it's going to be hard to get that young man back off the field. I'm telling you. You go back and look. Deontay did not play. Okay. And he led the team in tackles. Talking about Jihad Campbell. Okay. Trez doesn't play. His name was called. I don't know what his tackle. I haven't looked at his statistics.
10 tackles.
10 tackles, which has to be amongst the highest, if not team lead. Okay. In the two games where he started, he has double-digit tackles. But not just double-digit tackles, he flashes. You know what I mean? Like there are games where you see guys play and you don't see them, which is not all bad. Sometimes it's when I played fullback X, you didn't really want your name called a lot. So it's not all bad that you play a game and nobody calls your name a lot. But an inside linebacker, you want your name called because you're kind of the quarterback of the defense. And when Jihad Campbell has started, the two games he started, to me, he's been the best linebacker on the field. I mean, let's just be real. Huh?
No, you're 100% correct. I mean, I went back. It was the Mississippi State game and Tennessee game. Not only has he had 10 plus tackles in both games, he's had an interception. He's had a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Right.
Had several impact tackles. He's not just racking up numbers. The fourth down stop, the play where Milton hit the guy out in the flat and he chased him down to force a punt. The Mississippi State game, he had a big tackle on the third down to set up a punt when Mississippi State had some momentum. Like, he's making impact plays, not just getting in there cleaning up on piles and things like that. His play is impactful across the board.
And right, and that's what I meant by he flashes, meaning that he's made big time plays. He's made impact plays. So I'll throw it out there real quick. One of our segments, and it's a segment that you can do. You can add it to any conversation we have. Is I want to see more. Well, one of the things I want to see more is I want to see more of Jahad Campbell. I want to see more of Jahad Campbell play for the University of Alabama's defense. I like Trez Marshall. I think he's good. I like Deontay Lawson. I think he's good. But I really like Jahad Campbell, and I want to see more of him. Allen is on the Alabama One hotline. You can get on the Alabama One hotline as well. He's on with us, and he has what he wants to see more of. Allen, you're in with Martin and Xavier on the Alabama One hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning. Good morning, Xavier. We were disappointed that you didn't want to give up your inheritance to get that offensive lineman back, but I understand. I'm no hard feelings on that one. I understand that, but what I want to see more of our offense start doing really well. Where the offense coordinator can get on, where I can pack his stuff, move him wherever he want, whoever wants him to be a head coach, where he can get on. So I want him to start doing very, very well. I'm praying for him. I'm hoping it. I'm doing everything I can where he'll start doing as well as he can, where he can get on.
So you want to see more of what you saw in the second half, so that everybody will like him, so that he'll leave. You don't.
Exactly. Exactly.
So hold on. So you're not convinced that if he does more of what he did in the second half, that you want him to come back?
Huh? What? Come back where? No, no, no. That's the second. He's the second of O'Brien, and we don't need him. We don't need him. You know, I would rather go out there and get somebody like Mullins or Freddie Kitchens or anybody like that. You know, I would get. You know, I want him. I want him gone. We need some new blood in there. And but what I did like was when he did let Milrow improvise a little bit more. If he improvises a little bit more, and you get them linebackers up, and you don't know what he's going to do. I mean, they have no idea if he's going to run, if he's going, and that to me alleviates a lot of stuff. But he got to get gone. I mean, we need to do something. He cannot coach the quarterback like Milrow, that's obvious. We done seen that. So I need to get my truck down there where he's at and pack his stuff and get gone. I don't care where he goes. The Northwestern, whoever wants him, get him gone.
Here's my question, because I don't want to call for anybody's job on the air, but I will be honest. I probably did in a text message, but but Alan, here's the question with Tommy Rees. He has now. I mean, he has proven to the world. I will say this. One of the positives is he has shown the world that Jalen Milrow can be a pocket passer. Okay. Now the question is, can he transition himself? Because coming into the season, the big question was, can Jalen Milrow pass the ball from the pocket? I don't think that's a question anymore. I do not. And I didn't have that question before. Everybody else was saying, hey, he needs to be a one read. Everybody else was saying that. I never thought he should be a one read passer. I think you should just build your offense around your skill set and whatever that ends up being. But they didn't. And he proved that he could pass. Now they've gone so far that he has become almost a statue. And they're trying. And now he's going to see if he can break out of it. Can our offensive coordinator transition to coach this type of quarterback? Because here's the concern I have with Alabama. Nick Saban had a hard time finding an OC. Next year, we have the exact same offensive players back. I mean, you lose Jason and Rodell, but your running back room is going to be stout. You lose Burton, but your wide receiver is going to be stout. You lose Dupree, but your tight ends are going to be stout. You lose Latham and McLaughlin, and And
Dupree will be
Dupree,
back.
that's right. Dupree has a choice to be back. That's right, because COVID messes me up, man. I know.
He's only a junior.
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
he's only a junior.
I count years sometimes, but I think he came in and got that COVID year as well, and so you see, but after that, then all the other quarterbacks that Saban is recruiting now appears to be Ty Simpson, Julian Sayin, Eli. Lonergan is probably the closest thing to Milroe, but he's not Milroe. They're more Tuas than they are Jalen's, if that makes sense. More Mac Jones than they are Jalen's. So, and Tommy Reese seems to coach that guy well. So, what we need him to do is transition to this for this year and next, and then maybe he'll grow up. I'm gonna have to get the break real quick, but I want you to respond. Is Alan still there?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was. I don't know if he can do it or not. I mean, I don't know if he's stuck in his ways. I don't know if that's his coaching style, and he can't do it. I don't know if he can do it or not. I really don't. I have no confidence in him. I have no confidence in him.
And we're in the same boat right now.
I mean, I think he's just stuck in that one. You know, he has tunnel vision, and he's stuck with this particular coaching style, and he does. You know, it's like in the 80s and the 70s. Hey, everybody was running the ball. Nobody
reminded me.
And that's the same
He's reminded me of a single season Les Miles. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it, Alan. We'll be back on the other side. Thanks, Alan. Hey, coming back on the other side, that's the question, X. I want you to respond to that. Can Tommy Reese change to handle that? And if not, what are we going to be stuck with? As we go to break here, hey, don't forget to go check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They can help you with your lunch and dinner needs. That's Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value. Hey, take Wilkin advice. He gets the 4 for 4. Marty Line gets the 2 for 2. What do you get? Call us up and tell us. That's Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a pretty nasty wreck out on Alabama 216 in Peterson. It's got the road closed. You need to find an alternate route. Everything else looks good, but if you see conditions, give me a call. These are some super deals from Townsend Nissan. 2, 4, 6, 8, up to $10,000 off select Nissans. Go see them. They're your friends in the car business. And I'm Captain Ray.
Tired of that gas-guzzling big SUV? It's like trying to park a school bus. Hi, Barry Buckner here at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, and you wouldn't believe how many Tahoes, Expeditions, Suburbans, even Escalades are trading for a new Hyundai Palisade. They're amazed with Palisade's luxury, technology, and a price tens of thousands less. It's no surprise KBB.com named Palisade one of the best family vehicles 3 years in a row. At Tuscaloosa Hyundai, our best Palisade feature is no added side stickers. Come see what a difference that makes on your new Palisade. Come take a Palisade test drive, and I promise you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove, TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
Register today for the Tuscaloosa Oktoberfest 5K presented by Mercedes-Benz U.S. International on Saturday, October the 28th in downtown Tuscaloosa. This Oktoberfest-themed 5K begins at 9 a.m. in Timerson Square and benefits the American Cancer Society. The 5K course will feature fun and German food along the way. Whether you're running or walking, all participants get free admission to the Tuscaloosa Oktoberfest Festival. Learn about the 5K and register at TuscaloosaOktoberfest.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Another warm day today. Lots of sunshine. The high 82. Tonight fair with the low at 61. For Tomorrow and Thursday, we stay warm and we stay dry. The sky partly to mostly sunny both days. Highs between 81 and 84. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 59 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
I think it's about correcting. I think it's about doing quality control on what you've done. See if there's some tendency or something that you would add or subtract that would create more balance, in what you do, so that you're not giving your opponent some tell on what you're doing. So it's a lot about self-analysis and, how can we implement that in a more positive way.
All right. Play that back one more time, Wyatt. That's Coach Nick Saban talking about what they're going to work on during break. I want you to listen to a couple of keywords, X, I'm going to get you to think on. But listeners, I want you to listen to, and then we're going to get inside of that and how that translates to what we hope to see against LSU or not see against LSU. Wyatt, if you have that ready, go ahead and hear it and play that back, and then I'll set it up.
I think it's about correcting. I think it's about doing quality control on what you've done. See if there's some tendency or something that you would add or subtract that would create more balance, in what you do, so that you're not giving your opponent some tell on what you're doing. So it's a lot about self-analysis and, how can we implement that in a more
All right. It wasn't way. A very long clip. He said it's about correcting some things. It's about tendency, what you can add or subtract to bring balance. It's about quality control. It's about self-analysis and how you can implement that. I'm going to get to those. So let that stew just a little bit, Xavier. Once again, bye week for Nick Saban and his team. It's about correcting some things. It's about tendencies, adding or subtracting. It's about creating balance. It's about quality control. And it's about self-analysis, how you can implement that. I'm giving all of you all a chance to think through. And if you, I'm going to ask the question. I want you listeners to call up and tell us what you may like. For instance, X, I'm going to ask you here in a minute, what tendency would you or anything like that? And so if you're out there and you want to answer that question, just call us up on the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904. And I understand there's a slight delay between the time I ask the question and your ability to dial a number or type your response. So I'll repeat it and give you a little time as I respond or X respond. What's kind of your thing there? And that'll take us a little bit inside the playbook, and it also may answer what we want to see more of. But before we do that, I do want to know, and I like doing this. I don't know why I don't do it more, X, but just like asking a question and getting your closing thoughts. Tommy Reed has proven that Jalen Milroe can be a pocket passer, but that's not his skill set. And I don't know, and this is not about, I have to use this analysis to make my point, but it's not about bringing up Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa for the presence of the way people treated those two kids when they were here. And touted the a lot of people did. 3+ years, Jalen Hurts was not coached correctly. He coached Jalen to get better as a freshman, but he also he also kind of put him in a box to a certain degree and coached him to a skill set. I think Jalen Milroe is further along than Jalen Hurts was in his first year starting. I think he's a better quarterback than Jalen was in his first year starting. I think he's a better passer, better all of that. But he's been in the system. He got to watch. The other night, Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts played each other, the Eagles versus the Dolphins. Now, after Brock Purdy's Monday night game, in every statistical category except for two, now Tua is number one in the league, which is amazing. Every QB statistic except for two, and one of those is touchdowns, and the other one is wins. Now, the touchdowns, I wouldn't worry about that because the Dolphins score a lot of touchdowns running the ball. They're like the leading rushing team in the league too. So I wouldn't worry about that. They're completely balanced. I think at one point they're leading every statistical major category: rushing, passing, everything. So you can't knock Tua for that. But Jalen is leading in wins. And when they went head to head, you saw the battle of two coaches who totally understand their quarterback, X. That's what you watch. That's what I loved about watching that game. You have a Dolphins coach who says, man, this is the dude I got. And their offense is built strictly around timing routes and speed offense and speed sweeps and angles and throwing the ball before the defender. That, man, it was times the Eagles had perfect coverage and Jalen just dropped it in. Boom. Tua just dropped it in. They're in perfect coverage. But then you go back to the Eagles and boom, they got read option, and the tush push and all of those things. Even the tush push is the perfect example of understanding your quarterback. No one can execute that because no one else has a quarterback that has – everybody's trying to duplicate it, X. You got to have a guy that has a 600 squat. The dude got to be a power lifter at quarterback, and Jalen's the only one that has that. That's why it works for Jalen. Can Tommy Rees find his sea legs with Jalen Milroe for the rest of this season? And if he can, what does that mean for Alabama football?
I definitely think he can, and it's one of those things. If he,
you're cutting out.
We've times, but
hold on, X. Hey, why? Let me see. Let me see what's going on. We're getting a little disconnect with X on that. Why can X? Can you see if you're back with us? Yes, you're back.
Is it good
what was your
now?
response?
Okay. Yeah. No, it's one of those things. Like, yes, I think Tommy Rees can get on the same wavelength with Milroe, and if it does, this offense explodes. We see what he's becoming as a passer. He's maturing as a passer every week. Still going to be bumps in the road. Still going to be mistakes here and there, but he is getting better there. But now let's incorporate everything else that he does really well, that we've seen him do really well. The design quarterback runs, the design plays that get him out in space. But once you get him out in space, give him his confidence back to use his legs. Because once that happens, you'll see the passing game grow even more because of the things that the defense will do coming up to stop him with his legs. Because right now they're not worried about him running, but that also benefits the run game. That also benefits the offensive line. All of those things can happen, and I think this week and leading into next week, you'll see potential growth if Tommy Rees is willing
I believe that this is Martin's prediction, X. They're going to spend a little bit of time watching the Eagles offense. Did you see us roll the pocket? Put him on the edge. He could have taken off. And the defense was in a quandary, and then he threw it late. And it was so funny. Virgil and DC and I were on at the same time, and all of us said, "Did you see that little rollout?" it was so pretty. So X, I want you to complete this. I want to see more of what based off of what you just said.
I want to see,
and it can be more than one thing.
I want to see more versatility. I want to see more diversity in our offense. That's
all
what
right.
I want.
And I'm going to break that down. I want to see more quarterback moves. I want to see the quarterback move off his spot for two reasons. One is I think it protects him. And so the defense doesn't get a landing spot. You know, I don't want Jalen Milroe to be in the same spot every time. I want them to have to wonder, will he be in that spot? Will he roll out? Will he move the pocket? Will he have a 3-step drop plant? Will he have a 5-step plant? Will he have a 7-step drop? Give some diversity to the offense in the moving the pocket. I want to see more read option off the edge, not just read option up the middle. I want to see us out on the edge with the new triple option. The new triple option. I want to see us get out on the edge where we look like quarterback may run it, quarterback may pitch it, or the quarterback may throw it. I want to see that play put in our offense, where the tight end leaks out and you have Black out in the flat. I want to see more of that. I want to see more outside runs. I want to see more diversity in that offense. We're going to get the break here, X. Remember, I told you we had that Nick Saban audio. I gave y'all a whole segment to think about it. When we come back, correction, tendencies, add and or take out, quality control, self-analysis, balance were the words he used. With LSU, it's pretty simple. C.J. Watson, what it means for Bama football is Bama is the bona fide favorite to win the national title. The drives that Reese calls that benefits Jalen's skill set, the offense is unstoppable. When the offense clicks like that, it makes the defense job easier. Coming back on the other side, we'll keep the conversation going right here on the home for Alabama sports. Southmark Design, southmarkdesign.com. Go check them out. They're the official outfitter of the Martin Houston Show, and they'll take care of you for all of your promotional needs as well. We'll be back on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a pretty nasty wreck out of Alabama 216 in Peterson. It's got the road closed. You need to find an alternate route. Everything else looks good, but if you see conditions, give me a call. These are some super deals from Townsend Nissan. 2, 4, 6, 8, up to $10,000 off select Nissans. Go see them. They're your friends in the car business. And I'm Captain Ray.
Yep, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's going to be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? Because everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a check to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Everybody loves Taco Casa. Everything we do in our store, we prepare in our store. You know, we hand cut all of our tomatoes. We block and shred our own cheese here in the store. So we still hand cut our chips, our sopapillas, our taco shells, our chimalupa bowls. Our chili takes about 4 to 6 hours to make every single day. The goal in that is to provide the freshest, best quality to our customers. So we just look at it as, hey, basically, we're your kitchen. You're just coming to eat in your kitchen. Taco Casa, under the biggest cactus in town.
universal truth of women's shoes. The cuter they are, the more they hurt.
You have to put your best foot forward, and if your best foot is an ugly shoe, oh my goodness.
Lise Ann thought she had to choose between looking good and feeling good until she got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now I can wear the shoes that I've picked out because I like the way they look, not because they were comfortable.
Good Feet relieved her pain and her fashion dilemma. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Come see us at 1800 McFarland Boulevard or goodfeet.com.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We want to thank all of our great listeners for tuning in. Joey, you've been patient. I apologize. I overlooked you. If you're still on the line with us, I want to get you in. What you got for us, sir?
Yeah, Martin, you were mentioning the tendencies. I think we're insane because of the definition of insane. Why do we run the ball straight up the center 90% of the time?
You would think. Let me tell you why. As I watch it, this is what I'm waiting on. It makes sense if you have the follow up, Joey, but we don't. Okay, so to answer your question, tendency. Okay, Nick Saban said we have some tendency. We need to add to or take away. Right? We run the same play up the middle. Well, that play really is a zone read if you don't have anything off of it. Okay. Well, that play naturally tendency draws the defenders where? To the inside, right?
It don't go outside.
Right. But what I'm saying is I'm walking you through it. So the play is designed for you to run inside. A defender should naturally do what? Play to the inside, right?
Yes.
Okay. So two things should happen. If you're running it to run a play action off of it, you should now have a tight end route designed to go where?
To the flat.
No. Right behind the linebackers. Right behind the linebackers. You should have a skinny post or something right where the go back and look at how many times Tom Brady threw to Gronk just firing off the line. You can't stop it because if the linebacker takes one step up and Gronk goes past him, the safety is too deep, the linebacker's too close, boom. It's a completion, right? It's that simple if you run that play. Okay? So we need to add to that tendency. That's one add to it.
Game of the season.
Huh? Hey, listen. I'm not disagreeing with you, Joey. I'm just saying that's why I'm like, I don't get it. Why don't we have that? But the other add to that is what happens over time is a lot of people don't understand how the read option works. The read option is the quarterback doesn't even look at, a lot of times in the old zone read, the quarterback had to read the down lineman, okay? If the tackle came down and took the gap, he pulled it. Then he got his eyes on the outside linebacker or defensive end, okay? And that was his second read. Well, in the read option now from the shotgun, They block that defensive tackle, and then the quarterback and then the quarterback just reads the defensive end. If the defensive end comes in, Joey, the quarterback is supposed to pull it because who has outside contain? The defensive end or the outside linebacker. If he crashes down to take that play away, who's out there to tackle the quarterback? No one. What have we done, 90? Huh?
We do another tendency. If you'll note, if you've seen it, I think, and it goes back to the quarterback, Milrow staying in the pocket. It might be 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, and we do a play action. I mean, halfway run it up, fake it up the middle. But all the receivers are 30 yards downfield. That's why he's standing there. The receivers are all deep. If you notice, we don't have anybody at 5 and 10 yards.
You remember who used to do that? You remember when Gus Malzahn used to never have any underneath routes?
I didn't remember that, but
yeah, our route tree. Now to add to that tendency that you're picking up on, that you're bringing up, Joey, what do? You add a route tree. You add crossing routes. You add underneath routes. You swing the back out in the backfield.
But Milrow gets sacked or close to it, and we blame the line, but the defense is pushing because of the run. We run up the middle every time, so they're pushing, and then there's nobody for him to throw too quick. So he's standing waiting for him to go 30 yards downfield on a 3rd and 3.
And sometimes sometimes it is the line, but you're right. The other part is we don't have, and watch this, and I'll let you go after this, Joey. We don't have any hot reads, undoubtedly, or we need to teach him how to do hot reads. X, I'll let you respond. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, Joey, you brought up a lot of great points and hit on a lot of things that Alabama doesn't do. And that's what we're talking about when we're saying, hey, adjust this, adjust that. Give Jalen release the chains and let him know he can run again. Because a lot of times, Joey, if the wide receivers are going 20 plus yards down the field, that means everything is open underneath. He might have one linebacker spying that he has to beat. And so that's why we bring up the points of releasing him to let him play his game.
Because the other side of that, Joey, is if we're running deep routes, one linebacker cannot stop the early season Jalen Milrow. The late season Jalen Milrow gets tackled one-on-one every time. Have y'all not noticed that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how explosive Jalen Milrow was when he took off running. Now think about how often he gets tackled by one guy in open field. He doesn't run by anybody anymore. He's almost like, even when he takes off, he's hesitant. Joey, great points. We'll even talk about this. And Joey, I'm going to talk about this even more because this is a conversation for next week as well, of what we need to see. Because you bring up 2 great points. 3rd down and in that 3 to 4 range, the tight runs we run. And there's some other things I want to get to, but I got to get to another caller. On the run, there's several other things that we can add to that we're not doing off of it's like we're setting it up, but we never go to the next play. That makes sense?
Yes.
We never go to the next play, and I don't get that. All right, so we'll talk about it next week.
It's in our playbook.
It's in there. I can tell you it's in there. Joey, we just don't call it because we've seen moments where he's called it. I mean, go back and look at the Arkansas game in the first drive of the second half and look at the second half of Saturday's game. It's in there. He just can't call it consistently. And because it's not pro-style offense. It's not pro-style offense. That's a zone read play that builds off of itself into a zone read option style offense. Just like, remember how Bill O'Brien struggled with RPOs with Bryce Young? He's struggling with the read option game with Jalen Milroe. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Great call, Joey. Thank you, sir. Hey, Todd, you're in with Xavier Martin. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, good morning, Martin. Thank you for taking my call, man. I tell you, I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but we're not going to see anything change as far as those runs up the middle right behind the center, because it's like chopping a tree down. You know, you keep hitting that tree same place in the middle over and over and over, and you hit 6 inches up, 6 inches below that marker that you're hitting. But you shake, all you do is shake the tree, and the tree's not going to fall. That's what we used to call it on offensive line on our teams. We used to call it chopping wood. We'd beat that team down. I know it may not look like it, but those beating that those guys are taking in the trenches, it had to show in the second half against Tennessee. Or I want to see something that none of us will probably ever see.
Hold on, Todd. Before you go to the next thing, that would be true if we were having success and having sustained drives. You can't beat them down with 3 and out. I agree with it. Coach Stallings was a run it till they stop and run it one more time just in case they can't, but we were having success. They're not having success. Now go to your next point.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes it don't look like you're having success, but those beating that those guys are taking, and it's down.
No. We're not having success, Todd. That second half had nothing to do with the way we ran that ball in the first half. We didn't run any of that up the middle stuff in the second half, Todd. None of it.
We could be putting some bruises on those boys in those 3 plays that they don't want no more in the second half.
Todd, you are not winning. Todd, you are not winning when you go 3 and out. You have 5 drives in the first half, and you go 3 and out 3 times. You are not bruising that other defense, or they're a bunch of weaklings.
Well, that's what it looked like the second half.
that looked like the second half, Todd, please don't think that second half had anything to do with the way our offense played in the first half.
I believe it has a little bit to do with it, Mark.
Oh my goodness, Todd! I've always respected your calls, but I'm gonna have to disagree with on you that one. Ed, respond, and then I'll let Todd respond. Go ahead. Ed.
When you look at the plays that we ran in the second half, it was off tackle runs. Jason's big run to start the second half was off tackle.
Then we ran a play action off of that.
And we ran the play action off of that. And then it was a handful of pitches that got that got Jace out on the corner, on the edge. And he's really good. If we're going to run up the middle, the best inside runner we got right now ain't playing, and that's Jam Miller. Roydell and Jace have a lot of success off tackle.
Let's let Todd. I'm gonna have to get you called back next week so we can talk about this even more. But I'm gonna have to disagree with you. But it is your opinion, so I let you have it. But I had to disagree with you. Hey, no, go ahead. You had another point though. You had another point. Make it real quick.
Yeah, real quick. One thing that I don't think I know for a fact, none of us will ever see is what in the world all those coaches said to those players in the second half to get them to come out to. Play calling has everything to do with the game. I agree with you, Martin, but the intensity in which you played the game, it was a different intensity out of the players the second half. It was.
Let me tell you what it was, Todd. He came out. He challenged them and said, do y'all want to be pretty much, I'm paraphrasing, y'all want to be Alabama or what? Y'all want to play to the standard or what? Go out and do it. And we came out and we ran the ball off tackle, had a big run. We came back and we got a touchdown on 2 plays, flipped the script. Momentum flipped to our side, and Big Mo was on our side, and they grabbed it and ran with it. That's what happened, was they had success, and shameless plug here, my book, The Encouragement Factor, is Give Me One More Inch. That's the role of a coach. A coach gets you to give a little bit more than you would give on your own. And that's what he got them to do. But if they don't have that success on that first drive, none of that happens. But they did, and then they ran with it. Appreciate you, man. Hey, Todd.
Yeah.
We didn't bruise them in the first half. We did. Have a good one, Tom. Coming back on the other side, we'll put the finishing touches on this edition of the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a pretty nasty wreck out on Alabama 216 in Peterson. At the road closed, you need to find an alternate route. Everything else looks good, but if you see conditions, give me a call. These are some super deals from Townsend Nissan. 2, 4, 6, 8, up to $10,000 off select Nissans. Go see them. They're your friends in the car business. And I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Wednesday morning. Northport Attorney Brian Brinyark has won a narrow House District 16 Republican primary victory in yesterday's special election. Brinyark defeated Fayette County Commissioner Brad Cox 1,706 votes to 1,519. Brinyark will face another Fayette County Commissioner, Democrat John Underwood, in the January special general election. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage throughout the day. It's free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Hi, Barry Buckner here, and I want to say whether you come from T-Town or Birmingham or those sweet home Alabama towns like Utah, Demopolis, Selma, and Centerville, it's an honor and a privilege to have you choose Tuscaloosa Hyundai as your transportation partner. I know those roads. You drove past more than one competitive dealership to get here. So let me say, whatever you need, Tuscaloosa Hyundai is at your service. You want to test drive an electric vehicle? Hyundai Ioniq 5 and 6 are award-winning. Bigger ride for your growing family? Test drive the Palisade. Need a pre-owned vehicle under 100,000 miles? Great choice with our 1,000,000-mile warranty protection, no charge. No matter where you come from, no matter what you need. It's an honor and a privilege to serve friends and family who voted us best of the best. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove, TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
This Alabama football season, join Kerry Clark, Mark McGriff, and Matt Coulter for the most comprehensive postgame coverage of the Crimson Tide. The Tide Postgame Show, live from Walk-On Sports Bistro. Walk-Ons, 675 Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, burgers, bone-in wings, salads, and gumbo. The Tide 100.9 and 95.3 The Bear Tide Postgame Show will be live after every Bama football game. Catch Coach Saban's postgame press conference and the Walk-Ons keys to the game. Plus, we'll take your phone calls live. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win. 675 Skyland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa. And online at walkons.com. The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Oh, man. It's been a fun show. Want to let you know we're not going to have Scotty Hollins on this morning, but I will in just a moment do the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. Give you a word of encouragement to help you carry your faith into the boardroom, the classroom, or your chosen field of faith. But before we do that, I want to just kind of set the stage for the rest of this show and the rest of the week. Thank you all so much for all of you who listen on Tide 100.9, on the app, on 12:30 a.m. WTBC, a new listening audience there. Also, all of you who listen on the app out there. Just a quick shout out to those who tuned in yesterday. J-Dub from Seattle, Roll Tide Roll. Lance from Houston. He said the moniker for this team is the Adjustment Aficionados. Kevin Steele deserves an award. The OC is still in the 12-step rehab program for offensive coordinators. Kool-Aid has settled into punt return anxiety. Let the young talent eat a little or the transfer portal awaits. Left tackle shaking my head. Milroe incrementally improves week to week. Roll Tide. And last but not least, listener JF from Hayneville. I thought Tammy Reach was a run-first OC. Still don't understand what Saban's seen in this hire and a very boring offense. Those guys all communicated with us via the app. You can communicate on the app, the Tide 109 app. You can communicate through chat. We'll bring you into the conversation. You can also communicate on the Alabama One hotline, 205-342-9904. You always can get into the conversation. And Bam Bam 72 said, with LSU coming to town, it's pretty simple. I want to see more touchdowns. I think the to beat this LSU team. We have to score at least 35 when we get inside the red zone. Can't settle for field goals. And Chuck Hunt said Gene Stallings was a run-oriented coach. We need to find a little bit of that, but we need some creativity as well. For the remainder of this week, I'm going to be out on assignment, but it's going to be a great show. X will be handling things. We're going to do audio only on the Restream, guys, so you will still be able to tune in, interact on the live stream, on the app, and on the radio the same way you do. Just won't get to see my beautiful face. I know that's devastating, but it'll be okay. I'll be back on Monday, and I may occasionally pop in and just say hello. Just traveling and didn't want to be messed up in terms of audio and internet and all that good stuff. So great shows lined up. Kennington Smith III will be in with X on tomorrow, and DC Capstone will be in with them on Friday. Got great topics lined up. They're going to have a state of, which is kind of their version of giving grades and assessments. And then they're going to do around the SEC and maybe even talk a little basketball on Friday with DC. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And then next week, I'm going to pick back up on some of these things that Saban said. I'm going to hold on to that clip where he talked about correction, tendency, add and subtract, and balance, quality control, self-control. Another thing I'm going to talk about next week is I'm going to talk about the offensive line play. I talked to an offensive lineman, and he and I talked, and we both kind of talked about how you set the pocket. Y'all hold on to this now. Don't steal my stuff and don't call somebody else's show and tell them my stuff now. But we're going to talk about the offensive line pocket, how you set a pocket. The center has to set, and then the guard set, and then the tackle set. And if those guys don't set at the right level, you create openings in the rush lane and everything, every sport. I think Wimp Sanderson did it better than anybody in basketball. He understands angles, geometry, the angles and stuff. All sports is about angles. Football is no different. If the guard sets too deep, then he creates an angle when the guy rushes. He creates an angle to the quarterback. If the tackle sets too deep or doesn't set deep enough, he creates an opening to the quarterback. And we're seeing a lot of that happen. We'll explain that on next week as well. But it's been a great show. Thank you all to the listeners, callers, and viewers out there that call in and chat. I want to give you a scripture as we've been talking about through the storm. Through the storm, strength through the storm. Isaiah 59:19 says, from the west, people will fear the name of the Lord, and from the rising of the sun, they will revere his glory. For he will come like a pent-up flood that the breath of the Lord drives along. There's a scripture that says, when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Lord will raise up a standard against him. So when the enemy comes in against you, when the storms hit, when things happen, how do you respond? How do you respond? Do you respond by running to people? Do you respond by retreating? Do you respond by running to something stationary? There's a thing, such thing is called the North Star. And if you can find the North Star and keep your eyes on your North Star, then you can find your way you can find your way anywhere in the world. What's your North Star? Don't let it be a person. Don't let it be a thing. Don't let it be a circumstance. Don't let it be a job. Let it be the Lord. If the Lord is your North Star, then he will be able to give you the strength through the storm, because don't take your eyes off of that target. It's almost like I mentioned it, as a runner's coming up on the finish line. When they see that finish line, they get rejuvenated. They get energy. And the Lord tells us that we need to finish the race that he's called for us. Fix your eyes on the Lord and finish the race that he's laid before you. If you'll do that, you'll be able to finish through the storm. The storms aren't going to necessarily bypass you. They're not going to necessarily go around you. Sometimes you're going to have to go through them. And you need strength to go through the storm, and he will carry you through the storm sometimes. Sometimes he'll protect you through the storms. Sometimes he will bring you out of the storm, and you'll have to recover on the other side. But either way, he is the answer and the solution. I've learned through my years, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord always, always. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, even in the storms, acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm encouraging you to do. The Lord will give you strength through the storm if you'll trust him. Martin Houston, and Xavier Houston was on with us earlier. Thanks to all the caller, listener, viewers, and chatters that tune in with us. We appreciate you. Remember this. Hey, we'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, and we'll keep it going. I encourage you, if you want to be an encourager, if you want to be someone who can help others, or you may just want to find out if you need a little bit more encouragement, go to Amazon.com, guys, and get my latest book, The Encouragement Factor. Give me one more inch, and it'll help you do just that for yourself and for others. Amazon.com, The Encouragement Factor, Give Me One More Inch by author Martin Houston. That's me. Love to have you. Get that. It's in ebook fashion, paperback coming soon. Thanks, and roll tide. We'll catch you on tomorrow for the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a pretty nasty wreck